What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football. Houston Texans football. Today we're going to ask a question, though. Who is the Houston Texans' number one receiver? Like, seriously. Who is going to be DeShaun Watson's number one receiver for the 2020 NFL season? You got rid of Hopkins. You brought in Randall Cobb. You brought in Brandin Cooks. You still have Will Fuller. Still have Kenny Stills. And at this very moment, you still have Carter and QT, and we're going to get into that in a moment. But exactly who's going to be your number one receiver? Because obviously, after watching Kansas City in the divisional round put up 51 points on you, you thought that the need was to go faster. Because that's exactly what the Texans did. The Texans have a lot of speed. I talked about that last time. The Texans have speed that can kill. And they have enough speed, enough talent to send somebody on deep routes every other play, if not every play. I mean, you got Fuller, who's out here running the 4-3-2. You brought in Cooks, he runs a 4-3-3. You got Stills, who's running a 4-3-8. QT runs a 4-4-2. DeAndre Carter running a 4-4-4. Your slowest guys is Randall Cobb running a 4-4-8. I mean a 4-4-6. So you got guys who you can send on deep routes damn near every single play if you want to, if you choose to. And I think that everybody's going to have a role in this offense. Now, I know I mentioned both Carter and QT. No lie, y'all, like, they're not even going to make the team. But are they really going to make the team? This is how I look at it. I think everybody has a role. I think that Carter, more than likely, is just going to be a return man. Now, we've seen him go deep. We've seen him run some routes. You know, he had the 50-yard reception against the Jets 2 years ago, and I forgot what game it was. I don't know if it was Denver or if it was Jacksonville. He had a big play this past season as well. There was a big 45, 50-yard play that he made in the middle of the field. Might have been against Tampa Bay. Yeah, I think it was against Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken. So we've seen him run routes, and we've seen him able to get deep and make plays. But he's mostly going to be, and I know a lot of y'all y'all don't want him as a return man, but I think that's what he's going to be. He's mostly going to be your guy who's going to be your punt and your kickoff return man. Kiki, that's the guy I'm probably leaning more towards, more than likely not making the team. But as I sit back and think of it, you got 6 receivers, and most teams bring in 6 or 7 receivers on their roster, and you ain't got to worry about bringing in your undrafted free agents or guys who are you signed up for practice squad just to be that 6th and 7th guy, like your Vincent Smiths or your Stevie Mitchell Jr.'s. You ain't got to worry about that. At the very least, you got a guy in Kiki that in multiple games have caught 10 or more receptions, caught 11 receptions in the playoff game. So we know a guy who can catch passes at a high volume and stuff like that. So that's going to be your 5th and 6th receiver. A guy more likely, if he is on the roster, not even active on game day, but when you need him in a pinch, you have him. A guy who can catch passes at high volume. But the guy you're going to be mostly counting on is the main 4. That's Will Fuller, that's Brandin Cooks, that's Kenny Stills, and now you just brought in Randall Cobb, who's going to be the slot receiver. I know some of y'all might think that Randall Cobb is here to mentor Kiki. I would get that if Cobb would have signed a 2-year deal or a 1-year deal, then you can get out of it in 2 years. I mean, get out of it in the year. But since he signed a 3-year deal with $18 million guaranteed, I more than likely think he's going to be a guy that's basically the replacement for Kiki if you get rid of Kiki. That's why I think Kiki, once the Cobb signing was made, I'm like, okay, Kiki probably not going to make this team because he's going to be basically Kiki's replacement. Because Bill O'Brien's making some weird moves. He's making quote-unquote win-now moves by bringing in Randall Cobb, by trading the second-round picks that drafting receiver, bringing in Brandin Cooks. But then you trade away Hopkins. So it's clear that you just didn't like Hopkins, 1. And 2, the plan was to get faster. You want to get more speed on your offense. You want to copycat Kansas City. And they want to run this Patriot/Kansas City hybrid type offense where you got a whole bunch of tight ends, a whole bunch of slot receivers, running backs to catch out the backfield, but speed of Kansas City because everybody's running running 4-3s or fast 4-4s. So that's what type of offense you're trying to run, this Kansas City/New England Patriot offense. And we're going to see if it works. But I think the person who's going to be the person that you're going to count on, the guy who's going to get the bulk of the targets, it's going to be Will Fuller. This is the reason why. I've been watching a lot of tape on all these receivers all through the weekend. And one thing that jumped out to me. 1, obviously, DeShaun is going to have the most chemistry with Will Fuller. He's only played with Kenny Stills 1 year. He has yet to play with Brandin Cooks or Randall Cobb. He's been playing with Fuller since 2017. Even though Fuller has missed time, that's the person he's going to have the most chemistry with, for 1. And then 2, we've seen the tapes of Fuller. Fuller's hungry. He's a guy who's been the second receiver under Hopkins, and this is going to be his first shot of being the number 1 receiver, and he's in the contract year. And I brought this question up to Honcho last week when I was on the show. Shout out to Honcho, everybody out there in South Sports. That if Fuller's having a monster year 8 games in, do you offer him a contract? Because like Honcho said, if Fuller plays a healthy season, somebody's gonna toss him a bag. And I don't even think he has to play a full 16 games. If he plays 14 or 15 games, he's going to get tossed a bag from anybody in the NFL. The other 31 teams are going to toss him a bag because of the threat of receiver he is. So if it's 8 games in, and he's having a monster year, he's having between 8 to 600 yards, between 6 to 8 touchdowns in the half of the season, en route to being a Pro Bowler, things like that, you got to go ahead and sign him now. Because you don't want to risk him getting to the end of the year, him being a Pro Bowler or even an All-Pro or anything in that category. That bag is going to go up. And you already got to worry about Tunsil. You got to worry about giving DeShaun an extension. Cunningham as well. So you can't say, we're going to franchise tag him, because you still got Cunningham going to be coming up unless you sign him. Tunsil, unless you sign him. So you don't want to waste a franchise tag on Will Fuller. So you want to get him while it's cheap. It might be in the best interest to go ahead and sign Fuller now, to be honest with you, but that's a conversation for a whole nother day. And I'm just watching the receivers, and to be honest, Fuller's a better full-round receiver than Cooks and then Kenny Stills. I know Cooks has had 4,000-yard seasons with the Saints and the Patriots and also the Rams. I know that. I get that. But also remember, he's playing with Tom Brady. He was playing a McVay offense, and he was also playing in the Sean Payton offense as well, playing with Drew Brees. So he was playing in different offenses to get him those 1,000 yards, and they were low 1,000 yards. It wasn't like he was getting 1,500 yards. He was getting, I think, one was 1,000, one was 1,100. I think his most might have been 1,200 yards. But Fuller's a better route runner, and like I say, Fuller's an all-around better receiver. Like, for one, he runs that 4.32 at all times. Like, he runs that 4.32 speed on every route. Going deep, running crosses, whatever he does, he's running a 4.32 speed all the time. Cooks is not doing it, and neither is Stills. They're not running their top speed on every single route. Now, when they run go routes, yes, they run their top speed, but when they're doing other routes, their speed kind of tails off a little bit. That's why I'm saying that Fuller's a better route runner, because he keeps his top line speed on every single route. And also, another thing is that Cooks is a tough guy. Like, watching Cooks tape, he's an extremely tough guy, and that's part of the reason why he's getting all these concussions, because he's running through people. Like, he's a tough receiver, and I give him that to his credit, but that also gonna be to his detriment. And like I said, he's had 4 concussions in a 2-year span. That could be problematic. Also, another thing with this offense would be problematic, because now it seems like Tim Kelly has all this speed. So what are you going to be trying to do? And like I said, you can run deep routes damn near every single play. And I was talking to my cousin. He basically said, y'all going to be like the Houston Rockets of the NFL, always going for threes. Y'all going to live by the 3, die by the 3. Y'all going to live by the deep shot, die by the deep shot. Like, y'all going to be taking deep shots all the time. And could that be problematic? I think that Fuller's a more complete receiver that you can use him in other stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. You can use Stills and you can use Cooks in other routes. But I do think that Fuller's a better route runner, so he's better to use the other routes. Like I said, his only real problem is injuries. And I know he has his hands issues, but under DeShaun Watson, he's cleaned that up. Outside that Kansas City game last year, we had like 3 drop touchdowns. But outside that Pacific game, since he's been being quarterback from DeShaun Watson, his hands have gotten a lot better. He's vastly improved his hands a lot, and I just think that he's just more of a complete guy, and I think he's going to get the bulk of the targets. Now, Randall Cobb, he's going to be getting a lot of targets, but they're going to be kind of underneath. He's not going to be taking a lot of deep shots. And he's basically going to benefit from both having Cooks and having Fuller and having Stills being on the outside, taking all those safeties, taking that traffic away, and he's gonna be able to eat up everything underneath him in the tight ends, and also Duke Johnson come off the backfield, and I guess to some extent David Johnson as well. You're gonna depend on him for whatever that's worth. So I do think that the main target will be Fuller, and I also think that even though Fuller benefited a lot from having Hop on the opposite side, because when you have a dog like Hop on the opposite side, you gotta make sure he's covered at all times. So Fuller gets to run free. And when I said the moment that they got rid of Hop, I'm a double team Fuller. I'm a bracket him. Now you add Cooks in. are you going to still double team Fuller the same way? Like I've always said, you cannot guard Hopkins the same way you want to guard him when you have Fuller on the opposite side, because DBs and defensive coordinators hate getting beat deep. So now when you have three guys out there running 4.3 speeds, what do you do? And I think because Cooks has more pelts on the wall by being a receiver that's called multiple 1,000-yard seasons, I think people's first instinct is going to be to guard Cooks. And I think that that's going to give Fuller a lot of ammunition. It's going to open up Fuller a lot. It's also going to open up Kenny Stills a lot as well in the slot. And even though more than likely Cobb is going to be the slot receiver, they're going to play Stills in the slot as well. So we're going to see exactly what type of offensive mind that Tim Kelly has. Like we've been hooping and hollering, talking about Tim Kelly all off season. And like I said, I have my questions about this because I think he's just a guy who's been being around Bill O'Brien the whole time. I want you to bring in another offensive mind. But we're going to see exactly what's really on the table, because he has a lot of things in his arsenal. Like I said, he has a lot of speed that a lot of teams don't have. Even Kansas City doesn't have that type of speed. Like I know Kansas City has a guy who runs a 4.2 and Tyreek Hill, and then got Malik Hartman I think he runs a 4.3. I think he runs a 4.36 if I'm not mistaken. And then they have Sammy Watkins, who runs a 4.46 or 4.44, something like that. So he has speed, but he doesn't have three guys that's running 4.3s, and then have two guys running sub 4.4s. So we have from a collection of multiple guys, we have 5 to 6 guys who can outrun people when Kansas City only has 3. So we have more guys who can run different speeds and go out and do different type of things. So we have more speed than we actually have more speed than Kansas City, to be honest with you. So we're going to see exactly what type of offensive mind, what kind of things that Tim Kelly can do, and exactly what can DeShaun do. Because can DeShaun compete and make a MVP stake with all the speed? Because he's basically going to just be letting it go. Doom, 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 doom. So can he make case for MVP caliber season with all the speed? Can he get into the conversation when he's throwing 35 touchdowns, only having 9 to 10 or 7 to 8 interceptions, having over 4,500 yards, maybe 5,000 yards, things like that? Will DeShaun have that type of season? I absolutely think he could do that without all this speed. To be honest, DeShaun has that talent, has that capability. He's very efficient. But with all the speed, couldn't this help DeShaun Watson make his case for MVP status? We're going to see. Who's the guy who's going to lean towards more? I mean, you still got the tight ends. We're going to see exactly what, because I think the tight ends are going to be a big factor in this as well. You know, you got Akins, and you also have, we're going to see exactly what Kawhi Warren doing, because that's another thing that's underlined about Kansas City. They have Kelsey. Tom Brady had Gronk. Can Kyle Warren be that type of tight end? We said that he was compared to Casey when they drafted him. So we didn't get to see him all last year. I don't even think he played in the preseason. I don't even think he played in the preseason last year. So we're going to see exactly what type of arsenal he has as well. So with all that saying, and then like I said, you still got the running backs, you still got Duke, and you still have David Johnson, who I don't think David Johnson has it as a runner, but he did catch very well still last year. I will give him that. And that's one of the reasons why I don't understand the move, because you already have Duke Johnson. And I've been saying that Duke Johnson is really a slot receiver in a running back's body. I've been saying that for the longest. Even though I like Duke Johnson a lot, and I wanted Duke Johnson to be a Houston Texan. But he is a slot receiver in a running back body, which is cool, but you just need another guy you can give the ball to 20, 25 times. But that's a video that's a conversation for a whole nother video. But you still can throw the ball and get the ball out there to David Johnson as well. But all that being said, I still think the guy who's going to get the bulk of the targets is going to be Will Fuller, because of the chemistry. And to be honest, because it's going to be a contract year, I think he's going to be determined. We've seen the videos of him training with Hop. We've seen the videos of him 5:30 in the morning in some stadium in Houston doing lunges all over the yard. Like, he's a guy who's prepared. His injury history has been costing him a bag this whole time. He should have been on radar to begin the Hughes contract. But his injury history has been hampering Now he has the opportunity to be a number one receiver, and I think he's going to take the opportunity. I think that Fuller is going to be the primary target, and I think it's going to be similar to, in my personal opinion, I do think that, and this is another thing about a Patriot style offense that I think they're going to try to lean towards, that everybody's numbers are similar. Like, Fuller might have 70 catches, and then Cooks might have 65 catches, and Steele might have 60 catches, and Cobb might have 61 catches, and things like that. You're not gonna have a guy that has 100 catches, then the next guy only has 63. Like, you're not gonna have a guy over 100 catches. You're not gonna get that dominant. I think they're gonna try to be more level off. Like, say Will Fuller has 1,300 yards, and then Cooks has 1,200 yards. Like, they're gonna be very, very close in yards and catches and touchdowns and things of that nature. I think that they're gonna try to balance it out because one game Fuller eats, then the next game Cobb gonna eat, then the next game Steele's gonna eat, then the next game Cook gonna eat, and then they're gonna bring it back to Fuller, things like that. Like, you're not gonna have how you had DeShaun and Hop eating every week, like damn near every week Hop was getting his. You're not gonna have that. But we do know under DeShaun Watson, Fuller catches touchdowns at a high clip, and also Fuller gets 100-yard games. When Fuller plays a full game, Fuller damn near gets a 100-yard game, and damn near gets a touchdown in every single game that he plays with plays with DeShaun. So we gonna, and that's just more things. The reason why I think that he's gonna be the primary target, because the chemistry, he's in the contract year, and just think about, even when Hop was on the field, and I know Hop opened Fuller up because you had that dog on the side. People are gonna double team Hop. Fuller always damn near got away to get over 100 yards and get multiple touchdowns. So we gonna see that. When Fuller played a full game with DeShaun Watson, he was either getting 100 yards or he was getting multiple touchdowns, if not both. And that's from 17, 18, and last year. So I think that's something that we're going to see going forward into this 2020 season. I think that Fuller is going to be the number one receiver. Cooks is going to be number 2. Steele is going to be number 3. Cobb is going to be a slot receiver. I think that Carter is going to be your return man. And if Kiki makes the team, more than likely he'd probably be a lot of healthy scratches. But he's going to be a guy you can put in the pinch, because I think you would rather have him than have a Vincent Smith or Stevie Mitchell Jr. type like we've had for the past couple of years, undrafted free agents, or guys that you signed off of other teams' practice squads late into the season to be that 6th receiver. You rather have a guy who can catch, when you put him in there, he can catch balls at a high clip. Like we've seen that out of Kiki, that he can catch balls at a high clip. Another guy who does have chemistry with DeShaun. Him and DeShaun seem like they have a nice chemistry, because DeShaun has no problem going to him. Because when Hop went down that playoff game against the Colts, he had no problem going to Kiki. He had zero problem going to Kiki. So we're going to see exactly how that works. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.